Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad that you made it. I am Chantel, and welcome. Today, I want to discuss something that popped up earlier this morning on my way to work. I was thinking about prayers and how God actually answers them because yeah, it's a lot. A lot of people think that, that certain things that we pray for or honestly anything, he's just going to give it to us. And it's just, that's not the case. And what I want to do is shed some light on how God actually answers prayers for those who aren't particularly aware or they don't pay attention to how he actually answered their prayer, because sometimes he will answer us and we just don't know that that was the response. Now, of course, with anything, no is an answer. So there are times, yes, he does say no, but the time that he does actually give you a yes, it's not always going to be in the fashion or form that we are expecting. So, as an example, for those who may have prayed for, say, patience, I'm one of them. Too late, after you've already done it, then you realize that, dang, maybe I shouldn't have prayed for that. But at the same time, it's going to be the same with any prayer, especially if he's actually giving you a yes. And the way he actually answers prayers to me is it's more like you're signing up for like a class. You're enrolling in a course, and you have a course. You have your assignments, you have tests, you have different notes, different things that you need to study, different lessons. And I feel like that can be a really good comparison to how God answers prayers, because he's going to put you through tests. There's lessons. There are going to be a lot of things that test you to get to what you want. So, for instance, if we're talking about patience, he's going to put you in different situations and scenarios that are going to require patience. So the reason why he does that though is because nobody can just tangibly give you patience. Like if I could just hand you some patience, I would. But it doesn't work that way. Patience is more of a characteristic, an attribute. It's not something that I can just hand you physically. So it is something that you're going to have to actually develop. And that is why when you pray for certain things or request things of God, you're going to get a lot of what you really don't want, a lot of tests, a lot of trials, a lot of lessons, because it's there to develop you. It's not there to just, he's not going to give it to you because it's just not possible to hand it to you. So when you start seeing those lessons, those tests, those trials pop up, just know that that is in a response to something that you prayed for. So you need to remember, or if you want to be able to actually know when God answers something, that way you can kind of go back and kind of write it down, the response. Write it down. Get you a journal. Keep notes. This is, prayers for this day, whatever, and then when you realize that God actually answered that prayer, go back and jot down what the answer was. That way, hey, you know what, I can cross that off the list. He's already answered it. But don't be afraid, that is something that I feel that I should say as well. Don't be afraid to ask. It doesn't hurt. The what's the worst that can happen? He could say no. Or you could get a whole bunch of tests as a yes, but you're going to have to work for it. It's not something that he can just give you. Like even another example, if you want to, something a little bit different, you're asking for, help financially. God typically is not going to give you money. Now he may sometimes have someone else that he reaches out to who may end up blessing you in the end. But a lot of times he will give you ideas to create wealth, to create financial abundance, so that you can actually, do what you need to do, and you learn from it. Like, oh, this whole time, this is all I needed to do. I really don't need X amount of money. What I needed was the idea. What I needed was that concept, that invention, innovation. That's what you needed to be able to create your own source of income. So don't hesitate, to pray for what you want to pray for. Just be advised though that depending on what you pray for, you may get a lot of different lessons or tests or trials connected to it. Because if it's something that requires you to develop it, then guess what? You're going to have to go through some things that develop it, things that test your patience, things that test your bravery, your courage, your strength. It's going to test you. So just keep your head up. You know, don't shy away from praying for what you really feel like you need at that time. But just know going into it that if you do get some tests, some trials, it's a good thing. You know, take it head on. Because guess what? At the end of it, you're going to have exactly what you prayed for and then some. So that is what we're going to talk about today, guys. I just want to give you that really quick word of encouragement. You know, if you want to pray, pray. It's okay. Pray without ceasing. It doesn't matter, but just don't expect God to answer your prayers in the way that you want it to. Because of course He's going to do what He wants and He's going to respond how He wants to. But just be open and receptive to however He does it. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Again, I am Chantel. Please choose to vibe higher.